David John Moore Cornwell is a British author of espionage novels. During the 1950s and the 1960s, he worked for the Security Service and the Secret Intelligence Service, and began writing novels under a pen name. His third novel, The Spy Who Came In From the Cold, became an international bestseller and remains one of his best-known works. Following the success of this novel, he left MI6 to become a full-time author. Carré established himself as a writer of espionage fiction. In 2008, The Times ranked Le Carré 22nd on its list of the 50 greatest British writers since 1945. In 2011, he won the Goethe Medal, a yearly prize given by the Goethe Institute. Early life and career. On the 19th of October 1931, David John Moore Cornwell was born to Richard Thomas Archibald Cornwell and Olive Cornwell in Poole, Dorset, England. He was the second son to the marriage, the first being Tony, 2 years his older, now a retired advertising executive. His younger half-sister is the actress Charlotte Cornwell. Rupert Cornwell, a former The Independent newspaper Washington bureau chief, is a younger half-brother. Carré said he did not know his mother, who abandoned him when he was 5 years old, until the reacquaintance when he was 21 years old. His relationship with his father was difficult, given that the man had been jailed for insurance fraud, was an associate of the Carré twins and was continually in debt. A biographer reports, his father, Ronnie, made and lost his fortune a number of times due to elaborate confidence tricks and schemes which landed him in prison on at least one occasion. This was one of the factors that led to Le Carré's fascination with secrets. The character Rick Pym, the scheming con-man father of protagonist Magnus Pym in his later novel A Perfect Spy, was based on Ronnie. When his father died in 1975, Le Carré paid for a memorial funeral service, but did not attend. Cornwell's formal schooling began at St Andrews Preparatory School, near Pangbourne, Berkshire, then continued at Sherborne School. He proved unhappy with the typically harsh English public school regime of the time, and disliked his disciplinarian housemaster, Thomas, and so withdrew. From 1948 to 1949, he studied foreign languages at the University of Bern in Switzerland. In 1950, he joined the intelligence corps of the British Army garrisoned in Austria, working as a German-language interrogator of people who crossed the Iron Curtain to the west. In 1952, he returned to England to study at Lincoln College, Oxford, where he worked covertly for the British Security Service (MI5), spying on far-left groups for information about possible Soviet agents. When, in 1954, his father declared bankruptcy, Cornwell quit Oxford to teach at a boys' preparatory school. However, a year later he returned to Oxford, and graduated in 1956 with a Bachelor of Arts degree. He then taught French and German at Eton College for 2 years, becoming an MI5 officer in 1958. He ran agents, conducted interrogations, tapped telephone lines and effected break-ins. Encouraged by Lord Clandemorris, and whilst being an active MI5 officer, Cornwell began writing his first novel, Call for the Dead. Lord Clandemorris was one of 2 models for George Smiley, the spy master of the circus. As a schoolboy, Cornwell had first met Green when he was the chaplain and assistant master at Sherborne School, and then later as rector at Lincoln College. In 1960, Cornwell transferred to MI6, the Foreign Intelligence Service, and worked under Second Secretary Cover in the British Embassy at Bonn. He later was transferred to Hamburg as a political consul. There, he wrote the detective story A Murder of Quality and The Spy Who Came In From the Cold. as John Le Carré, a pseudonym required because Foreign Office officers were forbidden to publish in their own names. Cornwell left the service in 1964 to work full-time as a novelist, his intelligence officer career at an end as the result of the betrayal of British agents. Covers to the KGB by Kim Philby, the infamous British double agent. Le Carré depicts and analyses Philby as the upper-class traitor, code-named Gerald by the KGB. The mole George Smiley hunts in Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. Credited by his pen name, Cornwell appears as an extra in the 2011 film version of Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. Among the guests at the Christmas party seen in several flashback scenes. In 1964, Le Carré won the Somerset Maugham Award. Personal life. In 1954, Cornwell married Alison Ann Veronica Sharp. They had 3 sons, Simon, Stephen and Timothy, and divorced in 1971. In 1972, Cornwell married Valerie Jane Eustace, a book editor with Hodder and Amp-Stoughton. They have one son, Nicholas, who writes as Nick Harkaway. For more than 40 years, he resided in St Buryan, Cornwall, UK, where he owned a mile of cliff close to Land's End. In 1998, he was awarded an honorary degree from the University of Bath. In 2012, he was awarded the degree of Doctor of Letters, honoris causa, by the University of Oxford. Writing style. Le Carré's first 2 novels, Call for the Dead and A Murder of Quality, a mystery fiction, in which the hero, George Smiley of the CIS, resolves the riddles of the deaths investigated. In these first novels his motives are rather more personal than political. Most of Le Carré's novels are spy stories set in the Cold War and feature circus agents, unheroic political functionaries aware of the moral ambiguity of the work and engaged in psychological more than physical drama. Le Carré's books emphasize the fallibility of Western democracy and of the secret services protecting it, often implying the possibility of East-West moral equivalence. Moreover, they experience little of the violence typically encountered in action thrillers and have very little recourse to gadgets. Much of the conflict is internal, rather than external and visible. A departure from the use of East-West conflict as a backdrop in this era is the spy novel The Little Drummer Girl, which is set against the Israel-Palestine conflict. A Perfect Spy, which chronicles the boyhood moral education of Magnus Pym and how it leads to his becoming a spy, is the author's most autobiographical espionage novel, reflecting the boy's very close relationship with his con-man father. Biographer Linda Anbean describes the novelist's own father, Richard Cornwell, as an epic con-man of little education, immense charm, extravagant tastes, but no social values. Le Carré reflected that writing A Perfect Spy is probably what a very wise shrink would have advised. Le Carré's only non-genre novel, The Naive and Sentimental Lover, is the story of a man's post-marital existential crisis. With the fall of the Iron Curtain in 1989, Le Carré's writing shifted to portrayal of the new multilateral world. For example, The Night Manager, his first completely post-Cold War novel, deals with drug and arms smuggling in the murky world of Latin America, drug lords, shady Caribbean banking entities, and Western officials who look the other way. As a journalist, Le Carré wrote The Unbearable Peace, a non-fiction account of Brigadier Jean-Louis John Moore, the Swiss Army officer who spied for the USSR from 1962 until 1975. In 2009, he donated the short story The King Who Never Spoke to the Oxfam Oxdales project, which included it in the project's 5-volume. In a TV interview with Jon Snow of Channel 4 News, Le Carré remarked on his own writing style that Since the facts that inform his work were widely known, he felt it was his job to put them into a context that made them believable to the reader. Politics. Le Carré feuded with Salman Rushdie over the satanic verse stating, "Nobody has a God-given right to insult a great religion and be published with impunity." In January 2003, The Times published Le Carré's essay, "The United States Has Gone Mad." Le Carré contributed it to a volume of political essays titled Not One More Day. Other contributors include Richard Dawkins, Brian Eno, Michelle Faber, Harold Pinter, and Haifa Zangana. Le Carré wrote a testimonial in The Future of the NHS. Interviews. John Le Carré was the guest in an episode of BBC Radio 4's Book Club, broadcast in February 1999, with presenter James Nockety and an audience in Penzance. In an interview broadcast in October 2008 on BBC 4, Mark Lawson asked him to name a best of Le Carré list of books. The novelist answered, "The Spy Who Came In From the Cold, Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, The Tailor of Panama and The Constant Gardener." In September 2010, Le Carré was interviewed on Channel 4 News by journalist Jon Snow at his house in Cornwall. The conversation involved several topics: his writing career generally and processes adopted for writing, his career, discussing why, both personally and more generally, one did such a job then, as compared to now, and how the earlier fight against communism had now moved to the hugely negative effects of certain aspects of excessive capitalism. During the interview he said that it would be his last UK television interview. While reticent as to his exact reasons, those he was willing to cite were that of slight self-loathing, along with a distaste for showing off and an unwillingness to breach what he felt was the necessarily solitary nature of the writer's work. He was also wary of wasting writing time and dissipating his talent in social success, having seen this happen to many talented writers, to what he felt was the detriment of the later work. A week after this appearance, Le Carré was interviewed for the TV show Democracy Now! In the US, he told interviewer Amy Goodman, "This is the last book about which I intend to give interviews. That isn't because I'm in any sense retiring. I've found that, actually, I've said everything I really want to say outside my books. I would just like, I'm in wonderful shape. I'm entering my 80th year. I just want to devote myself entirely to writing and not to this particular art form of conversation." Quote. In December 2010, Channel 4 broadcast John Le Carré, A Life Unmasked, described as his most candid television interview. Le Carré was interviewed in the February 2011 edition of Sunday Morning, stating that it would be the last interview he would grant. Le Carré was interviewed at the Hay on Wye Festival 2013. Bibliography. Novels Call for the Dead, ISBN 0143122576. A Murder of Quality, ISBN 0141196378. The Spy Who Came In From the Cold, ISBN 0143124757. The Looking Glass War, ISBN 0143122592. A Small Town in Germany, ISBN 0143122606. The Naive and Sentimental Lover, ISBN 0143119753. Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, ISBN 0-143-12093-X. The Honorable Schoolboy, ISBN 0143119737. Smiley's People, ISBN 0340994398. The Little Drummer Girl, ISBN 0143119745. A Perfect Spy, ISBN 0143119761. The Russia House, ISBN 0743464664. The Secret Pilgrim, ISBN 0345504429. The Night Manager, ISBN 0345385764. Our Game, ISBN 0345400003. The Tailor of Panama, ISBN 0345420438. Single and Amp, Single, ISBN 0743458060. The Constant Gardener, ISBN 0743287207. Absolute Friends, ISBN 0-670-04489-X. The Mission Song, ISBN 0340921994. A Most Wanted Man, ISBN 1-416-59609-7. Our Kind of Traitor, ISBN 0143119729. A Delicate Truth, ISBN 0143125311. Non-fiction. The Good Soldier, collected in Granta 35. The Unbearable Peace. The United States Has Gone Mad, collected in Not One More Death, ISBN 1-844-67116-X. Afterward, an essay on Kim Philby, published in A Spy Among Friends by Ben McIntyre. The Pigeon Tunnel, Stories from My Life, Short Stories, Dare I Weep, Dare I Mourn. Published in the Saturday Evening Post, the 28th of January 1967. What Ritual is Being Observed Tonight? Published in the Saturday Evening Post, the 2nd of November 1968. The Writer and the Horse, published in the Savile Club Centenary magazine and later the Argosy. The King Who Never Spoke, published in Ox Tales, Fire, the 2nd of July 2009. Omnibus, The Incongruous Spy. The Quest for Carla, ISBN 0394528484. Screenplays, End of the Line, broadcast the 29th of June 1970. A Murder of Quality. The Tailor of Panama, with John Borman and Andrew Davies. Executive producer. The Tailor of Panama. Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. A Most Wanted Man. The Night Manager. Our Kind of Traitor. Actor. The Little Drummer Girl. Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. A Most Wanted Man. Our Kind of Traitor. The Night Manager. Adaptations. Film The Spy Who Came In From the Cold, directed by Martin Ritt, with Richard Burton as protagonist Alec Leamas. The Deadly Affair, an adaptation of Call for the Dead, directed by Sidney Lumet, with James Mason as Charles Dobbs. The Looking Glass War, directed by Frank Pearson, with Anthony Hopkins as Avery, Christopher Jones as Lysa, and Sir Ralph Richardson as Leclerc. The Little Drummer Girl, directed by George Roy Hill, with Diane Keaton as Charlie. The Russia House, directed by Fred Shapisi, with Sean Connery as Barley Blair. The Tailor of Panama, directed by John Borman, with Pierce Brosnan as Andy Osnard, a disgraced spy, and Geoffrey Rush as émigré English tailor Harry Pendle. The Constant Gardener, directed by Fernando Meirelles, with Ralph Fiennes as Justin Quayle, set in the slums in Kibera and Lower Yang'alani, Kenya. The poverty so affected the film crew that they established the Constant Gardener Trust to provide basic education to those areas. Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, directed by Thomas Alfredson and starring Gary Oldman as George Smiley. A Most Wanted Man, directed by Anton Corbijn and starring Philip Seymour Hoffman. Our Kind of Traitor, directed by Susanna White and starring Ewan McGregor. Radio. The Russia House features Tom Baker as Barley Blair. The Complete Smiley, an 8 radio play series, based upon the novels featuring George Smiley, that commenced broadcast on the 23rd of May 2009, beginning with Call for the Dead, with Simon Russell Beale as George Smiley, and concluding with The Secret Pilgrim, in June 2010. A Delicate Truth, recorded by Damian Lewis. Television Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, BBC 7-part television miniseries, with Alec Guinness as George Smiley. Smiley's People, BBC television miniseries, with Alec Guinness as George Smiley. A Perfect Spy, BBC television adaptation directed by Peter Smith, with Peter Egan as Magnus Pym and Ray McAnally as Rick. A Murder of Quality, Thames television adaptation directed by Gavin Miller, with Denham Elliott as George Smiley and Joss Ackland as Terence Fielding. The Night Manager, a BBC and AMC miniseries, directed by Suzanne Bier, with Tom Hiddleston as Jonathan Pine and Hugh Laurie as Richard Onslow Roper. Archive. In 2010, Carré donated his literary archive to the Bodleian Library, Oxford. The initial 85 boxes of material deposited included handwritten drafts of Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy and The Constant Gardener. The library hosted a public display of these and other items to mark World Book Day in March 2011. Awards and honors.